Good morning, everyone. It's so great to see such a good turnout. It's always good to apologize for not having enough tables and chairs for everyone, so this is really great to see. So welcome to the 2024 Chain of Survival ceremony. My name is Michael Van Beek. I'm a battalion chief of EMS for Richland Fire and Emergency Services, and I would like to thank everyone for being here this morning. To get things started, I would like to invite Bill Oates, a fire department chaplain, to come up and give an opening invocation.
Thank you, Chief. So anytime there's a house fire, serious accident, or the one that you're more familiar with, a breathing stoppage, ambulance goes en route, fire crews go en route to assist, law enforcement goes en route, and one of our chaplains from Chaplain Services Network goes en route. And our job on scene, we may have met some of you, is just to help support the family while the crew is working with the patient. Most people have never been through this before, and we don't know what's going on. And so having someone there just to walk alongside and to guide you through that initial shock and everything that's going on, that's where our chaplains usually are. It is a thrill to be here with you this morning instead of on one of those scenes. And I'm honored to be able to open us up with a word of prayer. Anytime I do a public prayer, I realize there is no way I could represent everyone's faith background. I'm going to offer a prayer from my own and just invite you to pause for a moment while I pray. God, thank you for this opportunity. What a great celebration. We thank you for life. And we thank you for the opportunity that these crews and these families have had, these people that jumped in and started CPR, the opportunities that we've had to help sustain life. God, we thank you for the skills, the tools, the commitment of the people that have made this happen. And we thank you for the celebration that occurs today to celebrate not only life, but relationships. In your name. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Bill. Now I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So if we could all stand, we have the flag up front. And gentlemen, please be sure to remove your caps. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, to get us started, I would like to invite our fire chief, Tom Huntington, to come up and say some opening remarks. Chief?
Thank you, Michael. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for being with us here today. We're very excited to have everybody here. It's really cool to be able to stand up here and look out into all of you, this assembled crowd this morning, and recognize that we have obviously lots of uniformed people here, but we have uniforms representing a number of different agencies who have collaborated within this program. We have our friends from Cadillac Regional Medical Center here. We have family members here. We have law enforcement with us today. And we have those of you who were the recipients of what we will celebrate today, and that is where lay rescuers and uniform rescuers come together to save lives in our community. This program has been one of the most, I think, profound and impactful initiatives that we've ever brought to bear in this organization at the department level, and certainly I would say also, what we've been able to do in this community. And that is certainly a reflection of the people in uniform that have put this program together, but this doesn't work without every single one of you who is here today and what each of you represents as you sit in this audience today. So for that, thank you. I want to offer out a couple of special welcomes this morning. We have with us Ryan Witten, one of our city council members. Ryan, if you can give us a wave. There, up in the back, thank you. Welcome. We have John Amundsen, our city manager, here as well. Thank you. Welcome, John. We have Dave Nair, the interim chief of police, with us. There he is in the back. Thank you. We have one person with whom none of this would be possible, and that is Dr. Hodges, our medical program director. Dr. Hodges, thank you for being with us this morning. And again, whether you are a civilian, an agency partner, a family member, someone who received these services, we're so thankful that you're with us here this morning. Thank you for being here, and welcome. Enjoy the program.
All right, thank you, Chief. So my wife always tells me not to go off script, and I'm going to do it already. I just want to say, none of this is possible without any of us in this room, but it's certainly not possible without the senior leadership within the city and our city council. They have been strong supporters of the fire department, public service in general, and they've been a strong supporter of Heart Safe Richland. And I just really want to say, it comes down to funding, and they realize the worth here and the impact that we have on the community. And I just want to say thank you, city council, senior leadership, chief in the back. Thank you for your support. We certainly appreciate it. Putting the ceremony together takes a lot of hard work by many people. So to get started, I'd like to recognize a few individuals who are instrumental in preparing today's celebration. So if you could please stand when I call your name. Within Richland Fire and Emergency Services, Administrative Assistant Megan Maynard, Administrative Assistant Karen Kendall, Parks and Rec Coordinator Sherry Gartside, Medical Program Officer Captain Andy Sabin, the Communications and Marketing Team, Allison Manka, Gail Everett, Mark Harper, and Mark Ingham, as well as the wonderful team here at the Community Center. If we could give them all a round of applause for the work. So without them, none of this would have been possible today. So sincerely, thank you. So I often get asked the question, what is the Chain of Survival ceremony? This ceremony is the culmination of a shared vision throughout our community to save lives from sudden cardiac arrest. This ceremony is about celebrating lives saved that were nearly taken from us. More specifically, we're here to celebrate those lives that were nearly taken had it not been for the high-quality care provided by all rescuers involved, from the bystanders to dispatchers to police officers, all the way through hospital staff. We celebrate the fact that our survivors can celebrate birthdays, holidays, family reunions, and special events with their loved ones. We celebrate lives saved from cardiac arrest and recognize the dedication and life-saving skills that our EMS providers have. So what is sudden cardiac arrest? And I thought we could just kind of break it down for you. So obviously suddenly is pretty self-explanatory. Cardiac meaning the heart, and arrest meaning to stop. It literally means someone's heart has suddenly stopped beating. Every year, 356,000 out-of-hospital cardiac arrests occur in the United States, nearly 1,000 every day. When someone goes into cardiac arrest and no one is around, the national survival rate is less than 10%. If the cardiac arrest is witnessed, along with bystander CPR, that survival rate increases to approximately 34% nationwide. In the city of Richland, when sudden cardiac arrest is witnessed, a bystander starts CPR. In 2023, our survival rates were 75%. Now, this is something we are certainly proud of, but we strive to do even better. In order to continue to improve our care, we must take a holistic approach and look at the entire chain of survival. The chain of survival, as described by the American Heart Association, the chain represents all the links that need to be in place for a community to have the best chance to survive a sudden cardiac arrest. It includes the activation of the 911 system, high-quality CPR, defibrillation, advanced resuscitation, post-cardiac arrest care, and recovery. Each link is directly tied to the next, and each link brings measurable success when someone has cardiac arrest. When we look at ways to increase survival from cardiac arrest, we need to evaluate each link and take a holistic approach on improving the entire system. As we evaluate each component, the first link in the chain is activation of the 911 system. Rapid recognition of someone in cardiac arrest and activation of 911 is key to cardiac arrest survival. Southeast Communications, or CCOM, is the 911 center for Benton and Franklin County. Being a 911 dispatcher is a difficult job. When someone calls 911 in the setting of cardiac arrest, they are often hysterical and the caller does not know that CPR is needed. Our dispatchers must use their skills to gather information as to what's going on, dispatch the appropriate units, and then focus the 911 caller to start hands-only compressions. Because of their commitment to excellence, they are able to calm the chaos and provide life-saving instructions and coach the 911 caller through providing hands-only CPR. Many states in the U.S. struggle with setting standards and securing funding to provide their dispatchers the training needed in order to coach someone through hands-only CPR. In Benton and Franklin County, however, it is not the case. When you call to report someone in cardiac arrest, rest assured that high-quality telecommunicator CPR will be provided to you. If our CCOM representatives and dispatchers would please stand, we would like to recognize you for your excellent work as frontline healthcare professionals and your role in the chain of survival. And I know you're here. Thank you very much for being here today. The next two links in the chain of survival are high-quality CPR and defibrillation. When sudden cardiac arrest strikes, every second counts, because for every minute that goes by with no CPR, the chance of survival decreases by 10%. Brain damage will set in after 4 to 6 minutes, and it's irreversible after 10. Studies have shown that the immediate use of an AED combined with CPR can directly increase the likelihood of survival. So this means that when someone has a sudden cardiac arrest, they are highly dependent on the public to step in and help them. HeartSafe Richland is a public education initiative to teach hands-only CPR and AED use. Our motto for HeartSafe Richland is don't wait for help, be the help. We want to empower our community to take action in the setting of cardiac arrest. We know that the key to increasing survival from cardiac arrest is to educate and engage our community and provide them with the necessary tools to be successful. To date, HeartSafe Richland has trained over 16,000 people in our community in hands-only CPR. If we get a round of applause for that, I think that's pretty impressive. Part of our HeartSafe Richland program involves placing 24/7 publicly accessible AEDs throughout our community. AEDs are safe for anyone to use, and you don't need to be a trained responder to use one. We placed our first 24/7 public access safe station in Howard Amon Park in September of 2022. This past Wednesday, in partnership with Benton County, Friends of Badger, and Benton County Fire District Number 1, we placed 3 more safe stations. One at the summit of Badger Mountain, one at the park at the base of Badger Mountain, and one at Columbia Point Marina. By placing these life-saving devices in accessible outdoor spaces, we can flip the statistics and save more lives from sudden cardiac arrest. Because every second count, our brothers in blue play a vital role in the chain of survival. They are notified of every cardiac arrest that occurs within the city. And unlike firefighters who are sitting around in their lazy boys, playing checkers or cooking food, it's for you guys back there, they are out patrolling the city. Oftentimes, Richland police officers can beat fire and EMS to the scene of a sudden cardiac arrest. Not only can they start CPR, but Richland police officers carry AEDs within their patrol cars. This was made possible through a generous and anonymous donation of $25,000 to the Richland Police Department Foundation to fund these purchases. We appreciate the Richland Police Department and their commitment to our shared vision of increasing cardiac arrest survival. If we could just recognize the members of the Richland Police Department here. We joke around a lot, but we really do appreciate you guys and what you do. We can't help it that you made the wrong career choice. It's okay. The fourth link in the chain is advanced resuscitation, and this represents our firefighters, paramedics, and EMTs who are dedicated to improving their craft and delivering the best pre-hospital medicine possible. A big reason why we have a successful EMS system in our area is because of our medical program director, Dr. Kevin Hodges. Since becoming our medical program director, Dr. Hodges has raised the bar for EMS performance in our region. He is an advocate for staying at the forefront of EMS care, and he has the same desire and shared vision to increase survival from sudden cardiac arrest. He has been a strong supporter of our Heart Safe Richland initiative, and I would like to have Dr. Hodges stand, and if we could have his assistant Misty stand as well, and the paramedic assistant AJ Fandrick also stand, and give them a round of applause. We appreciate all of you for being here. I would like to recognize the role that our local hospitals play in the chain of survival, which is the fifth link representing post-cardiac arrest care. As EMS providers, our care ends once we transport the patient to the emergency department, where the doctors, nurses, and support staff continue a high level of care to help ensure a successful outcome for our patients. Here locally, we are thankful to have 2 Level 1 cardiac centers, Cadlick Regional Medical Center and Trios Health. Because Cadlick is our closest hospital, we have developed a strong working relationship with the hospital and the staff there. We have collaborated on many fronts to improve outcomes within our community. Cadlick has been a strong supporter of Heart Safe Richland and is also out in the community providing education for hands-only CPR. A proud moment for Richland Fire and Cadlick last year was the designation of Cadlick as a Heart Safe campus. I know it may sound counterintuitive to say that a hospital is a Heart Safe campus because of all the doctors and nurses who know CPR there. But this award was focused on the non-clinical staff at the hospital. Richland Fire, in partnership with Cadlick's clinical education team, were able to train just over 200 of the hospital's non-clinical staff in hands-only CPR, which equates to about 90% of the staff there. I know we have a few members from Cadlick here today, and I would like to recognize the work you do to improve cardiac arrest survival in our community. I would like to ask everyone here from Cadlick to please stand and let us acknowledge your role in the chain of survival. I would just like to say thank you for the partnership and the great working relationship we have with Cadlick. We've been able to collaborate on so many different fronts, not only cardiac arrest, and you guys are true partners and true friends, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. The final link in the chain of survival is recovery. This is not only physical recovery from cardiac arrest, but emotional recovery as well. Having and surviving sudden cardiac arrest is an emotional experience. This certainly affects the mental health of our survivors, as well as the mental health of their families and our EMS providers. For every cardiac arrest that is dispatched, a chaplain is also dispatched to the scene. They play a vital role in comforting the family or bystanders on the scene, as well as providing much needed education on the process that a cardiac arrest patient will go through. They are also critical for us as EMS providers. They play an intricate role in our critical incident stress and our peer support teams. Our Richland peer support team is made up of firefighters who are trained in behavioral and mental health awareness, and they are able to provide support to our members in their time of need. If we could have any of our chaplains that are here, and also anyone who is on the Richland peer support team stand, we'd like to give you a round of applause as well. Okay, now it's time to get to the exciting part. And I would like to invite Richland Fire and Emergency Services Medical Program Officer Captain Andy Sabin to the podium. And now will be the time that we get to celebrate our cardiac arrest survivors here and get to celebrate the amazing care that was provided. So, Andy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, everybody, for being here. Yeah, this is awesome to see a packed room, so thank you. The links to the chain of survival have always existed, but it hasn't been until recently that we've brought these links together after the emergency. My role has given me the pleasure and opportunity to connect with survivors after their cardiac arrest, to coordinate and follow up with the hospital and staff, and with this ceremony, hopefully provide a sense of closure and completion to our rescuers and survivors. What we do is truly a group effort as EMS providers, but this ceremony shows what the community does together. With any project or program, we consistently seek input and feedback on how to make things better. This ceremony is no different. We receive feedback from our previous cardiac arrest survivors that they would like to come back to future events. Not only that, but they might want to speak. This year we had a couple people lined up to come back, and one of them couldn't make it, but one of them did, and that's Bree Barron. If we could give her a round of applause. Thank you, Bree. Thanks for being here. She told me she forgot her speech at home, so we won't make her come up here. You can see on the screen the Silver Challenge coin has our Richland Fire logo and our mission statement to protect and enhance the quality of life. The other side is our Heart Safe Richland logo with the words, "Don't wait for help, be the help." These coins are only given to those bystander rescuers, first responders, and EMS personnel who help save a life from cardiac arrest. This is our survivor's coin. This coin is only given out to cardiac arrest survivors. It has the same Richland Fire logo on one side with our mission statement, but the reverse side states cardiac arrest survivor. We have 15 cardiac arrest saves from 2023 that we will be honoring today. All 15 survivors were brought to Catholic Regional Medical Center for post-resuscitation care. These 15 survivors were all neurologically intact, which means they are living a life as they were prior to their cardiac arrest with little or no deficits. 9 of these survivors were able to join us today, and we are very grateful for their presence. We will recognize each survivor in chronological order. I'll read a brief description of the event. For those survivors that are here, when I call your name, please come to the front. Then I'll read the names of those involved. When you hear your name, please come forward. And if we could hold our applause until all the names are read, that would be great. Providers, survivors, and family, if you would like to say a few words at any time, let me know and we can make that happen. On January 10th, 2023, Medic 1422 from Benton County Fire District 4, Medic 1723, Duty Chief 141, and West Richland PD officers were initially dispatched to a seizure at a local gym. It was soon recognized that our survivor was in cardiac arrest. With the arrival of Medic 1422 and Medic 1723, advanced cardiac life support was provided and discovered our survivor's heart to be in ventricular fibrillation. He was shocked 2 times when his heart regained an organized rhythm and began beating on its own. Our survivor was transported to Catholic Regional Medical Center, where they discovered a blockage in his heart that required bypass surgery. Our survivor was eventually released home from the hospital, completed cardiac rehab, and is doing great. He couldn't make today's ceremony because of National Guard training, but we would like to recognize EMS crews from Richland Fire, Benton County Fire District 4, as well as our bystander rescuer, Brandy Jada. Adam Hardgrove, Brett Allman, Colin McCabe, Paul Carlisle, Garrett Premel, Alyssa Thomas, Alan Putz, Manny Estrella, Dawson Hall, Kevin Gatos, and Owen Miller. Please come up. All right, one more round of applause. Our next survivor has recently moved out of state and will not be able to join us, but his story is truly unique. I've talked to him several times on the phone. On February 1st, 2023, Medic 1721 and Medic 1724 responded to a cardiac arrest with bystander CPR being performed. The instructor was of 911 dispatcher Danica Mitchell. Advanced cardiac life support was started and found our survivor's heart to be in ventricular fibrillation. He was shocked 2 times when his heart began beating on its own. He was stabilized and transported to Catholic Regional Medical Center for further care. The unique part of this survivor is that the almost identical situation happened in February of 2022, a year prior. He is a 2-time back-to-back survivor. He has an electrical heart defect that required the implantation of a defibrillator to shock his heart if it detects a particular rhythm. He is doing well and wishes he could be here, but he couldn't. I'd like to invite up the EMS crews from Richland Fire and our 911 dispatcher, Danica Mitchell. Damon Bryan, Brian Bowe, Josh Jordan, Ryan Berkheimer, Matthew Jubb, Jake Croshaw, and Mike Ruley. Let's let him hold the record. All right, one more round of applause. On March 9th, 2023, Medic 1721, 1724, and BC 171 were dispatched to an unresponsive patient, possibly not breathing. RPD arrived and confirmed patient had a pulse but was unconscious. Our survivor was rapidly evaluated and moved to the ambulance for transport. While en route to Catholic Regional Medical Center, he stopped breathing and his heart went into a non-perfusing rhythm. Advanced cardiac life support was delivered en route to the hospital. It continued once inside the emergency room with the ER staff. ER staff and doctors at Cadillac were able to get the survivor's heart to beat again and stabilize him. After spending time in the ICU, he was discharged to a nursing facility and eventually recovered enough to be discharged home. He is unable to join us today, but we would first like to give a round of applause to Cadillac's ER staff. I'd like to invite up the crews from Richland Fire: Damon Bryan, Travis Merck, Joe DeRossi, Matthew Baker, Josh Croshaw, Zach Wallace, and Brenda Rogers. One more round of applause. Thank you, everyone. On April 18th, 2023, Medic 1724, 1422, and BC 171 were dispatched to assist with a child with low oxygen saturation. Upon arrival, Medic 1724's crew started advanced cardiac life support. The crew was able to place a breathing tube right before his heart slowed enough to require CPR. With the breathing tube in place and providing oxygen, our survivor's heart started beating again. He was stabilized and transported with Mom to Cadillac Regional Medical Center. After further stabilization at the hospital, he was flown to Sacred Heart for definitive care. He has graduated pediatric occupational and physical therapy and continues speech therapy at school. He's getting stronger and better every day. Please welcome our survivor, Valentino, and his mother, Narita. And our EMS responders from Richland Fire and Benton County Fire District 4, Pete Zukowski, Colt O'Brien, Chad Miller, Mike Ruley, and Kaylee Garrison. One more round of applause. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Valentino. On May 3rd, 2023, Medic 1721 was dispatched to a local office for difficulty breathing and chest pain. After arriving, the crew recognized that our survivor was trending toward cardiac arrest. An assist from Medic 1723 was requested while attempting to provide oxygen. Our survivor then went into cardiac arrest in front of EMS responders who performed advanced cardiac life support. After interventions, including placing a breathing tube, ROSC, which is return of spontaneous circulation, was achieved, and he was transported to Cadillac Regional Medical Center for definitive care. While in the ER, our survivor was successfully resuscitated from cardiac arrest 2 more times before becoming stable. He spent a total of 8 days in the hospital and was discharged home on his way to a full recovery. Please welcome our survivor, Will Hamans. Rescuers from Richland Fire: John Walling, Matthew Jubb, Ryan Berkheimer, Matthew Baker, Josh Patterson, Jen Dawson, Jake Croshaw, and Trent Nelson. One more round of applause. Thank you, everyone. On May 22nd, 2023, Medic 1722 was dispatched with 81127 from Benton County Fire District 1. And I think there was many other units from District 1 as well, but there was a lot. Dispatch provided CPR instruction, and CPR was being performed at the arrival of 81127. With Medic 1722, advanced cardiac life support was started. Our survivor was defibrillated 3 times during his cardiac arrest, with the 3rd shock returning his heart to a normal rhythm. Our survivor was transported to Cadillac Regional Medical Center for definitive care and eventually transported to Trios for ICU recovery. Upon discharge, he successfully completed cardiac rehab, and he's doing great today. Please welcome our survivor, Kevin Cravens. Luke Money, Bob Grubenhoff, Jacob Lovejoy, Kelsey Han, Darren Henderson, Sarah Odlin, Masha Sells, Aaron Bybee, Jaime Aurelia, Cody Keaton, Chad Dellenberg, and Mark Christ. On August 31st, 2023, Medic 1721, 1723, and BC 171 were dispatched to a CPR in progress. Dispatch gave CPR instruction over the phone and continued until arrival of EMS. Crews immediately started advanced cardiac life support, attempting to restart our survivor's heart. During our resuscitation, our survivor was in cardiac arrest for over 45 minutes and defibrillated 11 times. In an attempt to do everything possible, our crews transported to Catholic Regional Medical Center, where resuscitation was ongoing. Eventually, ROSC was achieved. Our survivor was eventually flown to Portland for definitive care and recovery. He has worked extremely hard to recover and continues to give everything he has during his rehab. Let's give a round of applause first to Catholic's ER staff. And welcome our survivor, Kevin Marwan. And our EMS responders from Richland Fire, John Walling, John Witt, Jen Dawson, Joe DeRossi. I just realized those are all J's in the row. Matthew Jubb, Josh Patterson, and Emily Nakora. One more round of applause. Thank you, everyone. On September 6, 2023, Medic 1721, 1724, and BC 171 were dispatched to a CPR in progress. Dispatcher Luis Flores was able to give CPR instruction over the phone, and CPR was performed until EMS arrival. Advanced cardiac life support was immediately started. Crews delivered 5 shocks before our survivor's heart started beating on its own. He was stabilized and transported to Catholic for definitive care. It was discovered that his heart had a blockage requiring bypass surgery, which was a success. He continues to progress through cardiac rehab with the goal of getting back to fishing this spring. Please welcome our survivor, Michael Mazake. And our EMS crew, John Walling, Travis Merck, Josh Anglesey, Zach Wallace, Joe DeRossi, Tim Birch, John Witt, Josh Flores, and our dispatcher, Luis Flores. Thanks, everyone. On September 9th, 2023, Medic 1724, 1722, and BC 171 were dispatched to a possible seizure unknown of breathing. When crews arrived, CPR was being performed. Crews started advanced cardiac life support and placed a breathing tube. Our survivor regained and lost pulses twice before a sustained heart rhythm was achieved. They were stabilized and transported to Catholic Regional Medical Center, where our survivor received definitive care and spent several days in the ICU before being discharged with a full recovery. Unfortunately, our survivor was unable to attend today. I'd like to welcome our responders from Richland Fire, Josh Smith, Justin Carvito, Chris Willett, Pete Zukowski, Brenda Rogers, Walter Greer, and Cody Keaton. Thank you, guys. On October 7th, 2023, Medic 1723 was dispatched to an unconscious patient. When EMS arrived, our survivor was unconscious and unresponsive but had a pulse. Medic 1723 asked for an assist and began advanced cardiac life support. A breathing tube was placed to protect her airway and transport was started to Catholic Regional Medical Center. Just before arrival to ER, pulses were lost and CPR was started by our crews. Our survivor was taken into the ER and resuscitation continued until ROSC was achieved. After several days at the hospital, our survivor was discharged home with no deficits. Unfortunately, she was unable to attend today's ceremony. Let's give another round of applause to Catholic's ER staff. And I'd like to invite up the crews from Richland Fire: Caleb Castleperry, Adam Hardgrove, Colton Roney, Mike Emmerich, Zach Hannibal, and Luke Money. Thank you, everybody. On October 15th, 2023, Medic 1721, 1724, and BC 171 were dispatched to a seizure that got upgraded to CPR in progress. Dispatchers provided CPR instruction to our survivor's son, who performed CPR until arrival of EMS crews. After one round of CPR by our crews, our survivor's heart started beating again. Advanced cardiac life support was continued, and she was stabilized for transport to Catholic Regional Medical Center. Her cardiac arrest was caused by a pulmonary embolism, which was treated at the hospital. After discharge from the hospital, she's been working hard through cardiac and physical therapy and is almost completely back to where she was before the cardiac arrest. Please welcome our survivor, Joanne Gonzalez, and her son, Conrad. And we'll get the EMS crew up here as well. Tim Estel, Jason Garrison, Raul Mariquin, Pete Zukowski, Colt O'Brien, Henry Foster, and Brenda Rogers. Another round of applause. Thank you, everybody. On October 25th, 2023, Medic 1721, 1724, and BC 171 were dispatched to a CPR in progress. Dispatchers gave instruction over the phone for CPR until the arrival of EMS. Crews started advanced cardiac life support and found his heart to be in ventricular fibrillation. Our survivor was shocked one time and regained his heartbeat. He was stabilized and transported to Catholic for definitive care. Our survivor spent time in the ICU and step-down unit and discovered the need for cardiac bypass. He was discharged home to regain strength for the surgery, which was successfully completed a couple weeks later. Our survivor is working through cardiac rehab and getting stronger every day. Please welcome our survivor, Kurt Jetton. And our EMS crews, Chris Denny, Phoebe Markley, Scott Brines, Tim Birch, Brett Allman, Zach Gould, Joe Owens, and James Hempstead. Thank you, everyone. On November 20th, 2023, Medic 1724, Medic 1422, and BC 171 were dispatched to a choking. Dispatchers were able to give Heimlich instruction and eventually CPR instruction before the arrival of EMS. At the arrival of our crews, our survivor was in cardiac arrest and advanced cardiac life support was started. CPR was given for 24 minutes before our survivor's heart started beating again. He was further stabilized and transported to Catholic Regional Medical Center for definitive care. After 6 days, he was discharged home. Please welcome our survivor, Lance Reinecker. And we'll get our EMS crews coming up from Benton County District 4 and Richland Fire. Steve Austin, Colt O'Brien, Chad Miller, James Hempstead, Kaylee Hart, Trevor Hinkle, James Longy, and Caleb Southam. Thank you, everybody. Let's hold for a photo. On December 5th, 2023, Medic 1721, 1724, and BC 171 were dispatched to a CPR in progress. Dispatcher Jenny Buchanan gave CPR instruction to bystanders until the arrival of EMS. Crews immediately started advanced cardiac life support. After one round of CPR, our survivor regained his heartbeat and was stabilized for transport. He was taken to Catholic Regional Medical Center for stabilization and eventually flown out to Sacred Heart for definitive care. The cause of his cardiac arrest was a significant hemorrhagic stroke or brain bleed. Amazingly, he has been discharged home with no significant deficits and is getting stronger and stronger every day with therapy. Unfortunately, our survivor was unable to make it today, but let's invite up our crews from Richland Fire and 911 dispatcher, Jenny Buchanan, John Walling, Travis Merck, Josh Anglesey, Joel Murillo, Joe DeRossi, Tim Birch, Brian Bowe, Zach Wallace, and Josh Jordan. Thank you, everyone. On December 15th, 2023, Medic 1721 was dispatched for chest pain and shortness of breath. Once EMS arrived, they called for an assist from Medic 1723 and 1725 for manpower. Our survivor's heart was beating at 240 beats per minute and needed to be shocked out of that rhythm. After 3 unsuccessful attempts to change her rhythm, our survivor went into cardiac arrest. After 8 minutes and several rhythm changes, her heart returned to an organized rhythm. Our survivor was transported to Catholic Regional Medical Center for definitive care and spent 4 days in the hospital before returning home with no deficits. Please welcome our survivor, Paula Glenn. And our EMS crews from Richland Fire, Raul Mariquin, Tim Estel, Justin Carvito, Dave Roney, Dalton Rentz, Jason Garrison, Steve Austin, AJ Fandrich, Josh Croshaw, and Brenda Rogers. Upon meeting Paula, I feel like I can share this because of her attitude, but every time in the report when they shocked her heart, she was still awake, and she'd say, "Stop that hurts." And it was in quotations, so. Thank you, everybody. It was almost time for an intermission, but that's it. So I want to thank again everyone for coming. I hope you found value and encouragement in this ceremony. Feel free to stick around, get some goodies, take some pictures, and talk. As we close, if I could have all our Richland Fire and EMS personnel stand up, and then all the cardiac arrest survivors, please stand up as well for one last round of applause. Thank you, everyone.